Hey YouTube, welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be my top 3 Thursday, but it's being filmed on Sunday. I rewatched just now or earlier on today my last week's top 3 Thursday, and that was filmed on Sunday, and I was like, oh yeah, I might play this game for SNK Sunday later on. So if you're getting confused, or I would have been confused if I was watching that, apologies. This is being filmed on Sunday, and if I remember to do it right, it gets uploaded on Thursday. Okay, so this week, top 3 Thursday, or today's top 3 Thursday, is going to be, I'm not sure how to call it, top 3 games or top 3 bad games that I actually like. I've gone through my collection. I've picked up, I haven't got a lot of games. No, sometimes I got stacks of games, haven't I? So I've got 6 games. I got my top 3. Yeah, I think all the top 3 games didn't review very well. I considered trash games, okay? But I really like them. And my honourable mentions, it's just I've heard quite a few YouTubers say these games are trash, or my friends group. I don't know how they officially reviewed, so I'm not saying they're all trash. I'm confident my top 3 were critically shit games, but these ones are not necessarily reviewed bad games, okay? The first honourable mention then is Dynasty Warriors Gundam 3. This is my first ever Dynasty Warriors game, and it's actually my first ever Gundam game. I don't know what it was. This game goes for quite a lot of money now. I picked this up right at the start of lockdown. Well, I ordered it on CEX, to be fair, and it wasn't expensive, but somehow it's gone really expensive. I've heard more negative things about it, but I played this game 50, 60 hours, and I'm just still at the tip of the iceberg. I want to level all my Gundams up to the maximum level, and it's really satisfying because you can replay all the missions and the stages. So it's like, I say I'm level 50 odd or whatever, I can't remember. It's been a while since I played it. Yeah, it's really satisfying. Say you're like level 50 or something, you go back where everyone's level 1, you just one hit killing everyone, and all the enemy Gundams are going flying. I really like it. I don't know how well it reviewed, but apparently, I know in the Gundam universe, it's not fondly looked upon, but yeah, I'd recommend that game, I don't know how it compares to the other Dynasty Warriors games, because I have actually played one of them. I can't remember which one it was, but I don't know how it compares to, say, the newer ones, but I recommend it for what that's worth. Now, this one I was a bit apprehensive about picking up and talking about. It's Fable 3. Again, this is considered the weakest in the trilogy, but it's probably my favourite. There's some game in the trilogy. Before, if you asked me this time last year, I would have said Fable 1 is my favourite. I got so many great memories of that game, but Fable 1's a very good example of some games are best left in your memory, or with, they don't age that well, but visually it's okay, but the controls are very clunky. This is a much better game in my opinion, but I think this is considered, I think they're doing a 4, aren't they? But I don't think the sales are very good on this. Most of my friends speak positively of the game, but it's not their favourite, but this one is my favourite. I finished it, I think, 3 times. And again, I think I bought this, or played this. I had this kind of in lockdown. My brother got me an Xbox 360 for my birthday a couple of years ago. And this is one of the first games I wanted to get back into. And I got the bad ending again. It doesn't actually tell you, if I remember, you've got to make these tough decisions because you're the king. And you can't please everyone because there's only so much money you've got. But I thought, I'll make these tough decisions and I'll get some money later on. But I didn't realise it was right at the end of the game, so I fucked it up. But maybe next year or maybe the year after I'll play it again, knowing just be careful of the ending. It doesn't tell you you're right at the end of the game, you know. But yeah, I really enjoyed this. Really, really did. Good game that is. And another one is Samurai Showdown Sen for the Xbox 360. It's the Sam Show where they tried probably the best screenshots. And the US had a much better cover than us. They had I'm tempted to buy a US cover game just to have the different cover variant. They've got we got the characters in the back in PAL territories, but in the US and Japan they had all the characters were on the front. It's up there with my favourite, one of my favourite game cover arts, you know. But I really enjoy this game. I'm not saying it's the best Samurai Showdown in the series. The thing is with the Sam Show games, if this is considered the weakest, but I still think this is a good game. It probably is my least favourite Sam Show game, but that just goes to show how good all the other ones are. I'm glad they went back to the classic 2D fighting game mechanics, because it kind of works. It's really good fun, actually. I did play this on my series Around the World of 80 Fighting Games. And you don't see this game in the wild, you know. It is complete in box. And I must have got it from Super Tomato in Cardiff, because he's put his card in there. It's a really good shop, that is. If you're anywhere near the Cardiff area, definitely worth check that out. It's not in the town centre. It's about a 10, maybe 12-minute walk from the town centre. It's definitely worth visiting. But yeah, I'm a big fan of this game. I don't know how it reviewed, but I know for a fact it's the weakest game in the franchise, you know. So yeah, that's my honourable mentions. Sorry, this video is not going to be as long as I think last week. I was talking about fighting games for like 50 minutes. So that was a nice easy video. Okay then, so the next three, I'm quite confident they were panned in the reviews, okay? And what this game then was my holy grail. If you asked me this time last year, what's the one game you could add to your collection, what would be your first choice, holy grail? And it's Street Fighter, the movie, the game for the Sega Saturn. I know this game's out on the PlayStation as well, but this is the version I wanted. When I bought my Sega Saturn, I bought it not last year, maybe 2 years ago now. I bought it. It was like a friend of a friend sold it to me. And the one game I wanted the Darkstalkers, the Street Fighter Alpha games, but deep down I knew, right, now I can go and get this game. I'd never seen it in the wild. I bid on this. I was watching, I think, every single seller on eBay in the UK. I was watching them, and it goes for anywhere from £50 to £150, believe it or not. And yeah, I never won any bids. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't bidding on the £150 games. My budget was more like the 50-60 quid. I think I paid 55 for this. And of all places, I found it in literally 10 minutes up the road from where I live, in Port Talbot, in Retro Stash. And he had a load of new games in, and he probably, if you subscribe to my channel for a while, he's always got too much, I've said this loads of times, got too much stock in his shop. He's way overstocked. So you've really got to go on your knees and move. You've got to move stuff out of the way. I've said this before, you should wear a hard hat in there, because you might move something and then accidentally touch something, and about 30 games might fall on your head and stuff. It's a bit of a dangerous shop, like. But they had this in there, but I got so excited. It isn't the best condition. The hinge has gone on it, but it is complete in box. It's got the manual and obviously the game in there. So that's the main things I wanted. Maybe I can I'm not sure if you can buy these dual cases. It's the only dual case I've got in my entire Sega Saturn collection. All my other games are like the cardboard. I prefer the cardboard ones, mind. But this does stand out on my shelf, because I was so happy when I picked it up. And it's really good fun. Obviously, if you don't know what it is, it is considered the worst Street Fighter game. It's never on any of the collections, not like the Capcom Fighting collections or the Street Fighter Anniversary collections. They don't talk about this game, okay? But there's just something about it. So you've got the characters. Blanca is my guy in this, just because he's so funny. Oh, he's not on any of the pictures, unfortunately. But it was the Van Damme movie. I think it was 1994 this came out. Funny enough, I think that's the if you're going to watch a Street Fighter movie, watch the animated movie. I think that came out in 1994 as well. So I remember seeing this in the magazines, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, because Mortal Kombat, back then, I thought had the better graphics. Like, I'm not sure what they call the sprite work or whatever. It's actually people, and it looked really cool. And I thought, finally, Street Fighter, because Street Fighter is the better game, in my opinion, always has been. And I thought, great, now we got like a Mortal Kombat cross with Street Fighter, and it's based on the movie, because when I saw this movie the first time, I thought it was the best thing I've ever seen. I even thought it was better than like Star Wars and stuff like that. You know, yeah, I was a big fan of the movie. So yeah, to finally have that in my collection, yeah, that's my number 3. But reviews, I have got a couple of magazines, because I collect. I'm kind of casual collector when it comes to my retro gaming magazines, but yeah, it didn't review very well, but I fucking love that game, okay? So that's my number 3. My number 2, now, I'm not saying these games are better, but I'm going on the reviews. I think this game, none of my mates like this game either, and I think in the magazines, it had a very average or below average scores, but the game is Star Wars Obi-Wan. I think this was a very early game on the Xbox library. It might have even been a launch title. If it wasn't a launch title, it was a very early title, because I had Halo. Obviously, that was a launch title. And there wasn't an awful... There wasn't a backlog game. The catalogue of games, rather, was still pretty low. And I picked it up in the shop just to have a look at it, because anything Star Wars. I really like the look of the back of it. But my friend said, oh, we rented that, that's trash, leave that game alone, don't go near it. So it put me off, and then again I went to pick it up, and same thing with the mates, oh, don't bother, that game's meant to be shit apparently. So I put it back, and I picked it up. It went really cheap, really quickly. I think like 6 months later, I paid like 10, 15 quid, or it might have been like a 2 for £20 or something like that. And I tell you what, I had a hell of a lot of fun playing this. And my favourite memory of it, I actually own 2 copies of this, and one is French, and you can't change the language. CX, I was missalted. Actually, it's a long story, but I was given it by mistake. I took it to the counter, and they didn't charge me for it in CX in Carmarthen. So I took it home, and it's fucking French, and all the back, everything's French. So how the hell... Now, when you're buying loads of games, you don't read the back of every game, because I know what the game's all about anyway. But, yeah, my favourite thing about this, obviously it's in the Star Wars universe, and obviously you play as Obi-Wan, is I think it was the right analog stick, is how you control the lightsaber. So it wasn't like the triggers, so you just attack with a lightsaber. The way you swing, so if you swing to the right, Obi-Wan will swing his lightsaber to the right. And it was a bit of a learning curve, but after about 15 minutes, I got it. It was never an issue for me. But a lot of the reviews, they did not like those controls. So maybe the game review people in the magazines didn't put the time in on the tutorial mode or the tutorial level, and just thought, this is shit. It looks good as well. All the Star Wars, it is LucasArts, okay? All the LucasArts games always had good graphics. But, yeah, it was really good. So there was, like, times where you're fighting people with swords or whatever, and then you block in, and I really, really enjoyed that game. But I think reviews, they got panned in the reviews, okay? But, yeah, I would check this out. If you're living in the Swansea area, don't buy it, because I want to buy it. I'm hopefully going to have third time lucky. I'll buy a complete working copy of this game, because I'm dying to play it, you know. Maybe I'll just have to fucking play it in French, learn French. I did live in France for a couple of months, didn't I? Okay, my number one. This is definitely a guilty pleasure. The hype for this game was unreal, and this is where the term, or it was the first time I ever heard the phrase Halo killer. So obviously Halo was selling Xbox systems, wasn't it? Let's be honest. So PlayStation and PlayStation. So PlayStation 2 had Killzone, and that was meant to be a Halo killer. But the first time I heard that phrase was on the PlayStation 3 for Haze, and this was in every single game shop window posters. They had those freestanding. I'd love to have one cardboard cutout of this face. It is a really cool looking picture. It was even in HMV in the windows and stuff like that. So they really marketed. They were heavy on the marketing for this game, and it got trashed in the reviews. All my mates said it's shit. When I bought this, or just before I bought it, around about the time when I bought this game, I was renting all my games in Blockbuster. Any kids watching this? Blockbuster was somewhere I used to go and rent. It was movies, but I was more renting in the games. I think you'd rent, it was like 5 nights or something. You could rent for £10. You could rent 3 games, or for the week or something like that. So I rented this, and I really enjoyed it. The story is very good. It would make a good film, in my opinion. Okay, the AI isn't the best. It is buggy and everything like that, but it's just got that charm to it. And when I decided to get back into retro collecting and collecting all the games I had, I couldn't wait to play this game again. So it holds up from what I can remember. But if you've never played it before, you haven't got the nostalgia attached to it, maybe I wouldn't recommend it. I'm not saying it's a great game or anything like that, but I enjoy this game. So that's this game inspired this week's Top 3 Thursday, you know. But yeah, I think this got like 4s out of 10 or 40% and stuff like that. If you ask anyone, have you played Haze? 9 times out of 10, they'll say, that's a shit game. Or maybe more than 9.9%, 9.9 times out of 10, people will tell you how shit this game is, okay? So that was my top 3 bad games that I like, okay? So let me know in the comments, what's your top 3, or what is there any games out there that your mates like take the piss out of you for liking, but you really like them, so you don't care? So more power to you if you like that. What did you think of my honourable mentions? The only one, I think Fable 3 might have reviewed pretty well, but I'm confident all the others didn't have very good reviews. But my friend group, it's the weakest out of the 3 Fables, okay? Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to Hadouken that subscribe button. Love you, goodbye.